Okay, Algebra 2, we're doing 10.7 that notes, but I'll tell you what, we're really just revisiting yesterday's lesson on 10.6. They're always going to give you a picture, and as we read this, it says a ramp 19 feet long, and they're giving you that ramp, pictured right here, is 17 feet off the ground. Find x, the angle of elevation. Angle x, an angle of elevation is the angle that you have to look upwards to measure that angle. You can go from a line of sight or from the ground, but it's how many degrees you must go up. Elevate means to go up to see or reach the object. So honestly, we're just going to find an angle. We're going back to what we did yesterday. The bottom line, guys, label your triangle. From this angle x, what would we call 17? This would be what? Opposite. You know it. How about the 19? That's your hypotenuse. Now, we are going to repeatedly go to SOHCAHTOA. And this is so visual, get into the habit of always drawing yourself a picture. But as we're looking here, as we're looking at SOHCAHTOA, we've got O and we've got H. Now with O and with H, which trig function are we looking at? The first part, right? The SOH. What did S stand for? Sine. So we'll have the sine of x is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. So at this point, once you've identified your trig function, we have its sine, and we've set up our ratio. We have, ultimately, guys, what you want to do is get your x alone. Now, this is what we did yesterday. How do we do that? What should we do to both sides? Inverse sine, yes, inverse sine. It's like our undo button of sine. And on the left, you're going to see that these just wipe out. You'll just have an x. This, though, is where you've got to take out your calculator and check your mode. Again, this is something so very important. Check your mode. Make sure you're on degrees. If not, you've got to put your cursor over and then hit enter. We can also round to 1 decimal place. But at this point, hit second sign. Make that sign with the -1, inverse sign show up. We'll go inverse sine of 17 over 19, and you should get 63.5 degrees. 63.5 degrees, and we're done. That's the angle of elevation. That's the angle that must be looked upwards to see the top of the object. We doing okay? Let's real quickly do our last one. This final problem, again, the cool thing is they're going to give you a picture, right? They're going to give you this picture of a lighthouse, and here's a boat, and they're saying find x, the angle of depression. Well, when someone's depressed, they're feeling down. Depression has that downward implication. From the line of sight, you have to look downward to see an object. So they're asking for you to find x. So once again, here's what you need to do. You've got to label your triangle. Get into that. That's what we do over and over and over again this unit. So look at the 194. That is what? Opposite. You can see the top of the lighthouse. It's 194 feet from the water. It's 194 feet this way, but from the line of sight to the boat, it's the same thing. The 1,166 is what? What side? Adjacent. It's right next to. So now at this point, we've got to label, SOHCAHTOA. And as we've got SOHCAHTOA going on, you've got O and A, and that is tangent. That's your O and A right here. So we write tangent of x, and that's 194 over 1166. So we're going to try to find this angle x, and of course, the way you do it inverse. Every time you're finding an angle, guys, every single time, you're going to do an inverse. So we're going to do an inverse tangent on the left. We're going to do an inverse tangent on the right. And thank goodness we're pretty much done. Right now, it's just putting it all into the calculator. And the left side, of course, is x, but the right side, you just got to type in your second tangent. You got to see inverse tangent there. You could make the alpha y equals fraction. Some of you are doing that. That is fine. It's not necessary. But you get a small angle, about a 9.4 degree angle measurement.